Rotary. I'll start with that. I'll say that. Personally, it's taught me many, many things. In times of hardships, Rotary was there because it was interesting. There was things to do. There were things to do. There were meaningful things to do. Sometimes we come up with, an open heart and we're ready to do our service. And sometimes, we don't have that enthusiasm because of something that we're going through, but Rotary is there to bring meaning. So we were talking last board meeting about the weather and how hot it was, up north or wherever others are. And I was telling them how hot it is down here in the southern part of the country, Southwest. And I told them that I had a story that I wanted to share because on the 15th of June, last June, our team in Mexico, the one we are associated with and related with many, many years of knowing each other. And they made a trip down to a village named Batopilas. Batopilas is sadly, the most impoverished village in Latin America, not only Mexico. And it has a very high percentage of Rarámuri, the natives, the Indians that live there. And yes, it was 113 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. It's humid because it's a canyon. There's no electricity. There's no running water. And the team, along with the Captar, the water project that we have planned, and we've started to do some water harvest systems. That's what we're planning. At least we've invested and supported Captar so that we can do that. They were down to check out the villages because, we want to make sure that wherever we're taking the support, it's what we've heard and what we've seen is for real. So Cesar Chavez, who is part of the team in Mexico, was there with the photographer that volunteers his professional work for us and does great videos, plus other volunteers. And as they were distributing the 300 and some food packages, Cesar, always is watching to see, and he asked the chief, the tribal leader, and he said, has everybody received a food package? And they said, well, no. And the chief kept saying, sick. They're not very fluent in Spanish. They speak their own language, the Rarámuri language. Even though it's an agrafa, it wasn't a written language until recently. But anyways, they're fluent in that, but not in Spanish. So he kept pointing up the hill and he says, there's a sick lady up there. And of course, they grabbed the food packages, which in this case, bless the Lord, they were very heavy because beside the bean and the cornmeal and the whatever other foods, the pinole, the ground cornmeal that's taken to them because that's part of their culture. There had been a donation of milk, quarts of milk for the children. So it was quite heavy, so here they are going up the hill and they reach and they find this mother holding a baby. And she just looked at them and said, she's sick, with an anguish gesture in her face. And she said, and so of course, Cesar approaches her and the photographer and, they touch her and she has a very high temperature. So Cesar immediately says, let's take her to the nearest hospital, which might be, at least 2 to 3 hours, but let's take her to the hospital. This is why Mesa is so important. Because it's to provide service for them, even though the hospital, the clinic might be 3 hours away. But the better equipped those little clinics are, the better chances they'll have. So here they are, walking as fast as they can. Cesar holding the baby. So they have to stop. They have to stop in the middle of what they're doing because the baby's gasping for air. So Cesar starts to give her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. He starts to massage her a little hard and he just prays and asks the Lord, please, please save her, save her. And then he looks at her, and then there she is, with her last breaths. And then he says, okay, let your will be done. And the baby just expires, gives that last breath right in Cesar's face. So he says, we were shaken, we were shocked, but we kept moving. We rushed her to the hospital. All of us were shaken. The photographer was crying by a tree. The driver, his hands were shaking, and they were all quiet. So they get to the hospital and they said, sorry, this baby is another one. What's her name? Her name is Ruby. Where's her birth certificate? She's not registered. There's no vital statistics. There's no information. So it's another of many unknown deaths. No birth certificate, no death certificate. So that is why, even with the painful experiences, we all committed, as they shared this story, as I remember facing situations similar. I can't say like that. I never had a experience like that. Praise the Lord. But I did see children very sick, and that's why we're doing it. And that's why Rotary does so much, because that's how I started in my volunteering work when Rotarians came into town and they invited us to do health clinics and transform babies' faces because they did a cleft lip or a cleft palate surgery, and the baby, the next day, 2-3 days, that it was just a little scar, and it makes such a big difference. When Bob invited me to become a Rotarian, be part of the Pathways Rotary Club, I said, of course, because I appreciate, I know what Rotary can do and what Rotary is doing. So I just wanted to share that with all of you, because it does impact our lives. It does. It made us more committed. Let's do more. Let's try more. Let's work more. And, that first week was pretty hard on all of us, the team, the ones here in the States and the ones in Mexico, because that death that experience lingered, and we had to help each other and pull us out of that despair and that experience. But that's what we ended up saying. You've got to commit and do more. So this is the invitation. Where you're at, what you do, whatever support, if you donate to the foundation, if you don't donate to our club, just be part of this, participate. I wish with all my heart that most of you would come down and take a glimpse at the places that I'm talking to you about, sharing with you these stories. I know it's dangerous, yes, but it's a year of hope. It's a year of hope. So I do keep in my heart a high expectancy, a high hope that things will be better. And if each of us can do something to make this world a better place, whether we make it beautiful with the butterflies and the plants and the educational program in Guatemala, or supporting Mesa. Mesa does wonders. There are empty little rooms that are made to be clinics in those places because there's no doctor. There's no medicines, least of all instruments. So everything that we're doing is very impactful. So I thank you. I thank you with all my heart for whatever you're doing, but do it. Let's do something. And together we can make this a much better place for us and for our children. And this, of course, this adds so much meaning to our lives.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Whatever age we're at. So thank you. My love to all of you. Thank you.
Well, I am going to jumble up my agenda because of your call to action. one of the things that we've talked about doing this year is that I would like to implement a mini service project every month. This is a project that you can do in your town, in your house, and you're going to bring joy and hope to people who are nearby you. So since we can't as a group easily get together, or ever get together for that matter, Eloise's story prompts me to cut straight to what my thought was for our service project this month. And it's super simple. So I'm starting off with this super simple, costs no money service project. So first step, there are 4 steps, actually 3 steps, but I want you to take pictures. So this is a challenge. I want all of our members to do this. You're going to go out and you're going to pick up rocks. See, plain old rocks, little rocks, big rocks. I have little tiny rocks because my child loved teeny tiny rocks more than big rocks. And what you're going to do first is you're going to wash the rocks off. So I have 20 rocks already. I started with 25 and messed 5 up. So anyway, you can do whatever you want. They're back in the garden. So you take your however many. I challenge you to do 10. I'm an overachiever, so I did 20. So wash it off, dry it completely, and then you're going to decorate it. So it can have like this or something. Oops, is that backwards?
Oh,
It says you are loved on
Yeah.
it. I did a bee that says be happy on it. You are great. Just anything is fine. If you're good at drawing, you can draw bugs. I'm trying to do ones that are girl or boy or whatever. I did a really, really, really bad spider. That looks like an octopus, but whatever. They don't care. This one's happy. Turtle. And then my teeny tiny ones. I just did little tiny faces, smiley faces. You see them? Flower. Can you even see these? I did some with just little messages. One said, hello. That's it. Smiley face. Hi. That's it. So even if you're not artistic, you can print the word you are loved or hello or just smiley face. You can put just simply smiley faces on them. Then what you're going to do is take them and put them in a park or in a playground, set them on a sidewalk so that children who are walking past can find them. So it's sort of like an Easter egg hunt, only with a deeper purpose, like with the purpose of actually putting joy into a child. So in Columbus, before we moved out here to the country, I have other ones that I consider like rejects, but it doesn't matter. They have groups that actually hide rocks and they have their names on the back. And when you find a rock, you're supposed to report it. And then they move all over the country. So there are actual groups that are really into this. So depending on where in the world you are, there may be people that are really, really, really into it. But if not, it's fine. I think if you just put something super, super simple, that's it. This teeny tiny rock with face on it is enough. So you're going to find 10 rocks. This is your challenge. Wash them off and let them dry. Decorate them. These are not paint. This is permanent marker. So if you put them out on a day that it's not raining, chances are they'll be gone in 30 minutes inside somebody's house and safely out of the rain. That is my challenge. But I want you to take pictures. Step 4 is to take pictures of your rocks. And maybe even your rocks placed like at the top of a sliding board or whatever, in a park, on a sidewalk, or wherever. But what I really, really want to see is rocks in Australia, and rocks in South Africa, and rocks in Japan, and rocks in Perrysburg, and rocks in Arizona, or wherever you are, in Florida, so that we can show that we are bringing hope and joy to children. So the Rotary International theme for the month of July is maternal and child something that didn't make any sense to me. So I'm trying to catapult off of that theme to specifically address children. So this is your challenge. That is your homework. Got it? Everybody nod. Yes, I got it.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. So
Daughter, do it for me.
this is the challenge. I hear David, but I don't see you. Go ahead.
Say, can my granddaughter do them for me?
Actually, that is even spreading the joy even farther. Enjoy it, involve your kids or your grandkids. They put them out for other kids. We're instilling in them service above self, which I think is really important from a young age. So yes, by all means, you can even yes.
You can do it together, David.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Do it together. I'll
Yeah.
get my grandson to help us, and we'll do that too.
They would love it.
They will love it. All right, so that is the service project. And each month we're going to come up with Chuck, which I don't see Chuck, but Chuck and I are going to come up with a little service project every month, so that if you can get on it early, then you won't forget. If you're a procrastinator like me and Jim and Sue's daughter, whichever one it was, we are the procrastinators. If you want to wait until the last day, that's up to you. But I would encourage you to do it. You'll have a good time and you'll feel good about it. All right. So now that we're happy, let's go back to what I had originally wanted to talk about in the beginning, and that was Happy Bucks, which most Rotary clubs have something like this. But we have a quandary, since most people half our people have bucks and half of them don't. So I was trying to come up with something clever like Merry Money or something, but it's all stupid. So anyway, the point is that if you would like to brag or tell us something really cool that's happened since the last time we got together, which would have been a month ago, we at many Rotary clubs have this thing called Happy Bucks. So you stand up and you say, oh, actually, Steve can show you exactly, because he did it during the board meeting last week. So you can be our first person.
Okay, well, I am happy to report that we have our second grandnephew came into the world a week and a half ago. He is Nash Jacob Hammond, and mother and son are now home and doing quite well. And I was just so darn thankful that my experience was so much better than the family that Eloisa had Cesare had to deal with. Perfect place to put in some Happy Bucks.
Yes.
Very good. So if you have a happy buck or a happy whatever, we're making donations to the club, or we're thinking that you can keep a tab on you so we can keep you updated on how much you owe, or you can just go on the club website and donate, which is what Steve did. He just clicked the donate button on our homepage and made a very nice donation. It was much bigger than a buck, but we thank you for that. Does anybody else have something happy they want to say? Is Jim going to charge interest? Asking for a friend? Maybe.
But Jim Hunt, I don't trespass district governors, any of you. I say that with love in my heart, but I don't trust any of you.
But is it the truth? They can't.
No, they
I
can't.
represent that comment.
I know you do. I went and got coffee on Sunday, and Cassie's here, so I'm feeling pretty good about that.
That was a result of coffee?
That was a result of, I was in the right parking lot at the right time.
Time. Didn't even make it in the door.
No, perfect.
Nice.
I'm gonna be outside
Anybody-
Waffle House tomorrow, stopping
Cool.
somebody else.
Yeah, if Scott is at the little hotel right there at the Waffle House, we need an extraction mission. So I don't think that's where Scott is.
Yeah, I'm at the Economy Inn. Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Right next
Anybody
door.
else have a happy buck? Something they want to brag about?
I'll make a happy buck. Well, you know, since the last time we saw you, and the last meeting was the first meeting that Sue and I have ever missed since the inception of the pathways. Anyway, we traveled out to South Dakota and explored all around there and had a good time. And saw sites I had not seen that were on our bucket list, and we had a great time. I need to tell you one small world story. So we were at Mount Rushmore, and we were staying at this resort area, and we were out on the deck, and there's a couple next to us, and we got into a conversation. As you know, when you're traveling, what's the first thing you ask? Where are you from? So they said, Ohio. I said, oh, well, we're from Ohio too. I said, where in Ohio? And they said, well, I'm from Ashland. I said, oh, well, I grew up right down the road in Shelby. And the girl looks at me and goes, no, I grew up in Shelby. I said, really? Where did you grow up in Shelby? Where'd you live? Well, I grew up on Marvin Avenue. I grew up on Marvin Avenue. So I can't get it any smaller than that. So that's worth at least $1.98.
All right.
And she's joining when, Jim? Because isn't that how you got Steve Miller in? Something like that?
What's that?
That's a great story.
Isn't that how you got Steve Miller in? You found something that small and then suddenly that person's in Rotary? I'm thinking Matt Peabody doesn't need to be president next year. You already got one you found on your Mount Rushmore adventures.
There you go. Yep. Exactly. The Shelby
We
and
did,
Mansfield boys.
we did see Matt Peabody's father's name chiseled in the stone on Mount Rushmore,
My
Stephen
dad's name
Peabody.
is chiseled in a bar stool in Hiram.
Well, his is at Mount Rushmore, and I just thought it was cool.
That is
On a big plaque. And it says,
Yeah, well,
Stephen
big-
Peabody.
Big marble slab, yeah.
all right. So I'll call it the end of the happy bucks. That's great. So the next thing I want to do at our normal club meetings is go through committee reports that are relevant at that time to the whole membership. So, for example, we are starting a strategic planning committee. Steve, our media past president, is going to be chairing that. We have 4 people from the board volunteer to serve on that committee. And this is a call for anybody else who is interested in participating on the strategic planning committee. If you are interested, and there's no pressure, but if this is something that you're very interested in doing and you're not on the board, you can put your hand up and Steve will write your name down.
Okay.
Won't you? All right, Ken is interested. in being
Wasn't ready
added.
to do that, but I'll give
Okay,
it a
you know
shot
what?
here.
I'll add it. I have the list running, so it's fine. So that's 5 of you. Is that good?
Okay.
Don't you think that's good size for a strategic
Yeah.
planning committee?
That's great. Send the names to me again so I remember who's on it, other
Okay.
than me.
I certainly will. So that committee is a committee that will meet in addition to our normal meetings. Like it's not going to be part of this club meeting or anything else. All right, so I wanted to mention Elda, who is in Germany. She doesn't make this meeting very often because it's the middle of the night. So it's hard for her to get here, but she's doing lots of work getting video programs up. And I felt so shamed at the board meeting last week for saying that I wasn't watching videos, that I am now determined to watch the videos that Elda works so hard to do. So this last one that she put up, just in case you haven't seen it, is on palliative care. something that I just went through with my dad this very last month. So it was very timely for me, and it's excellent program. So if you haven't watched it, I would encourage you to do that. Also, if she is asking you to help her get programs, please help her, because it is a big job. All right. The foundation committee, this would be the Rotary International Foundation Committee, is going to be chaired again by David Doherty. And I'm not sure that you have a report at this point. Probably not. David, you're on mute. I can't hear you.
Really, I'm working on the program for the foundation November. So I'll be
Okay.
fulfilling that soon.
That is perfect. The only thing that I thought we should mention is that in August, on the 17th, there's a Major League Baseball game that's going to somehow fund End Polio. I saw an email about that. So August 17th, I thought if you're interested in that, it's Cleveland versus Detroit. Put it on your calendar now. I'm not interested in that. It's not close to me, so I'm not terribly interested, but some of you who might be in the area may be able to take advantage of that. So get it on your calendar now.
Do you know where the game is?
It's in Cleveland.
In Cleveland, okay.
If it's the same, they've had it every year. It'll be at Cleveland. And
It's the usual polio eradication thing.
yeah, and they'll have the what do they call that? The Terrace Club, where you can go up and have dinner, and there'll be a lot of Rotarians there and that type of stuff. So they get a whole group of tickets that you can sit with, and you're with all Rotarians. And any of the extra money or whatever that goes towards the foundation for polio.
That's cool. So you can if you're interested, you can send a message to anyone, probably.
And I think that's, yeah, and that's also, I think it's run by District 6630, which is the Cleveland district.
Oh.
Will that
It
be
isn't
in
run
James
by,
newsletter?
it isn't run by our district, but our district partners with them and encourages members in the eastern part of the district to go to the game.
Well, that's
I've
a good
lost
idea.
the bubble on this, Chris. Has Jim put out his first newsletter yet? Since becoming governor?
I don't think so. I don't recall seeing one.
If you get a flyer, would you send it to us? Because I don't know when Jim is going to get his newsletter out.
Okay. Yeah, sure. But I'm writing it down because I remember nothing.
I wrote down the rock thing. I respect that. It's fine.
Good. All right. So cultural connections, we are going to try to revamp this year. There are 4 of us that are willing to participate in that effort. Cultural connections, for anyone that's not quite sure what that is where we teamed 2 young people, middle school students together to get to know each other, to interact and work on some projects together. So it was a really cool program. We thought it was a little intense and intensive last time, so we're probably going to pare it down a little, but we would still welcome anyone who's interested in participating in that. Anyone on the board, not on the board, that might be interested in doing cultural connections, put your hand up. I'll write your name down. Or if you're not sure, that's okay. All right, so that is a separate meeting. Also, I will follow up with you all that said you were interested. Then there's the Cooperative for Education. Jim, did you have anything you wanted to say about that?
Just pretty much the same information I've been sending out. The club is sponsoring 5 students, full scholarship to get through school. And I think right now we have 23 of our members that are helping with donations each month to support those students. So we are running, we lost some members that were donating, so we need some more donors to help us fill that gap. We're okay as far as we have some funds that were accumulated that we can fill through, but eventually we're not going to have that. So to break even, and if somebody would like to find out more about it, some of the newer members might not know exactly what we do and what it's all about, but we totally changed the lives of 5 students. We're basically taking them out of poverty to be able to live a life of middle class and be able to function and even be able to go back and help their family.
And typically it's $10 a month over and above the dues. Or more, of course. All right, so Eloisa, did you want to say anything about Mesa? I'm not going to do this every meeting, just by the way. I wanted everyone to see who was leading the various committees.
Of course, I'll be brief. Just our deepest gratitude to Mesa, because there is another 3rd shipment coming in. And of course, as word has spread that of what we're doing and bringing in equipment and supplies, other clinics are calling in and reaching out and asking for supplies. And we're happy to do that because we're finding committed health workers from other municipalities that are interested in this. And then if there is something that they is not helpful for them, maybe because they're a smaller clinic, they pass it on to another institution or health center so that it can be used. So it's just heartfelt gratitude for what Mesa is doing and helping us save lives. And all of that comes together. You know, the food packages, the medical equipment, the water project. So yes, thanks to Rotary. Yes, do you have a question, Jim?
No, I was just going to make a comment. Eloise and I attended the Mesa meeting right before this meeting. And Eloise is a rock star when it comes to Mesa. When you realize our own club, I mean, with all of Eloise's work and everything, coordinating it, we've shipped 3, this will be the 3rd shipment, correct, Eloise, that's going to Mexico. And in fact, what they're going to do this time is we're replacing the vehicles for Mesa, and they're going to take one of the oldest vehicle, fill it up, and send it down to Mexico, and Mexico's going to be able to have that. And and Mesa's set a record this year, and the whole district needs to know this. Think of this: we shipped 31 containers this year, and 24 of them went to Ukraine. We're saving lives all over. It's just it's incredible the amount of equipment, and when you equate that out, that's millions and millions and millions of dollars of good used equipment that we have shipped to help other people.
That's a great report. Thank you, Eloisa. You are a rock star. Ray is our Operation Pollination guy. He just came off of a really fantastic project. If you looked at our Facebook page, or you would have seen all of the pictures that were posted from that. It was really, really spectacular. Is there anything going on now that we need to know about?
Well, yeah, the big effort is over. I feel so relieved, and I have a little bit of time now that is done. But every morning I wake up and say, well, does it need to be watered? And I was out there this morning for a half an hour, with using a water wand and sprinkler and stuff like that to make sure that things are doing well. And 99% of the plants that we put in 2 weeks ago are looking really perky and doing wonderful. And I would like to say that while I was watering, I saw butterflies, I saw bees, and I was witness to a hummingbird visiting one of the bee balls. So yes, it's happening just that quick, that it's getting visited by the pollinators that we hope to support.
That's fantastic. So I have super exciting news. Last night, I got 2 of my hummingbirds to sit on the feeder while I was holding it in my hand. I'm trying to train them to come in closer, so it's very exciting. That was a side note. All right, there's another committee, and that is our social meeting committee, but I'm kind of doing it by myself right now, but I will probably, once we figure out what we're doing, I'll probably give it to someone else to take care of. But we are hoping to have another meeting during the month. So we have the board meeting the first Monday and the regular club meeting this Monday, this meeting the second Monday. But I would like to have one more meeting every month that is strictly social. So we'll have a topic and everyone can either wing it or prepare what they're going to talk about. But it might be, if there are only a couple of us, it might only be 30 minutes long. But if there's a lot of us and we can really talk about whatever the topic is, then we could stay an hour, or people can just bail whenever. It doesn't matter. But here's my question for the people that are here. So I'll take a vote here, and then I'm still trying to reach our people that are not on this call, and they are our European and South African folks. So I'll take their vote, and then I will let you all know what happens with the vote in the end. But would you rather do that on so this is Eastern Standard Time, a Saturday at 8 p.m., just like this meeting, only on Saturday? Or could we do it Saturday at 8 a.m. or Monday at 8 a.m.? Those are your 3 choices. I just want to get a feel for what everybody wants to do. So if you're in Taiwan, a couple of you, so we're talking the opposite time, right? Are you 13 hours difference now?
Depends on Eastern Standard. Right now, daylight savings time is 12, but Eastern Standard is 13 ahead.
So show of hands, I want you to all vote one time. Would you like that meeting to be the last Saturday of the month at 8 p.m.? All right. How about the last Saturday of the month at 8 a.m.? How about the last Monday of the month at 8 a.m.? Okay, good. All right, thank you. So if you didn't vote, you can always send it to me by text, email, messenger, whatever. Okay, where did Jim go? Oh, there you are. You disappeared on me. So I would like now to show the video, if Jim could do this. I had worked out with, her name is Anna Kazmarek or something like that, from Poland. This is a really amazing Rotary project that was started in a district that shared Polish clubs and Ukrainian clubs. But after the war in Ukraine started, they really jumped into action to try to help the children that are being affected so dramatically by the war. And what this club has started is so amazing. Now, I don't know how many of you are on actual cell phones, but you are not going to be able to see, most likely, the, well, I don't know. Maybe you will be able to see the captions on the bottom since he's showing his screen. I'm not sure. But I wrote the transcript of this if you should want me to read it. It's actually only 2.5 minutes long, but then I'll follow up with the questions that I interviewed her, but she was so embarrassed about her English, which I think is silly, but she didn't want to go on video to say it. So I have her answers.
You should have
So-
spoken Polish.
She could have. Do you speak Polish?
Mm.
No. Well, then what? Then that's not helpful. She's speaking Polish, so you can practice your Polish right here, Matt. All right, Jim, please play this video. Thank you.
No voice.
Nice sound, Jim.
I'll read the captions. We started searching for children who needed help from families where one of the parents was a victim of war, either died or was severely injured. Since starting this program, we're happy to continue because we see how the children react and change after participating, how they become more open, and how differently they look at the world and start experiencing it. Just like a regular child should, with a smile. I'm a chaperone for the children from the very beginning. Their arrival at the train station at Lvov, Ukraine, where they gather from all over the country, and to Zakopane, Poland. When they come to Poland, they're very closed off, maybe even a bit aggressive, not trusting. And I see the same children during the summer camp and the activities. I come for a few days to spend time with the children and bring them back to Lvov. I notice a change in them. They're less guarded, smiling a lot more, and are glad. I see how differently they look at life and at us, who are unfamiliar to them, how they look at Poland and their surroundings. I believe that we give them a bit, I missed it. Understand we cannot help for a longer time, but for sure it's an incredibly relaxing time for them and therapeutic at the same time for both the kids and their parents, because after the children come back home from the summer camp, they're smiling. They have dreams of children again or something like that. So I asked her 4 follow-up questions, and then I wanted to ask her about a service project that we could do to support the children. So these were my questions. And again, I'm sorry she's not here, 'cause I was hoping that would work out. But my question was, well, how long are the children at the camp? She said that each group stays in Poland for about 3 weeks, which I was surprised. Then secondly, I said, explain some of the activities that they do when they're there at the camp. She said it's a kind of rehabilitation camp. Therefore, children are under the care of specialists, psychologists, pedagogues, and pediatricians. They organize therapeutic classes for them. And in addition, children have plenty of attractions, trips to the mountains, swimming pools, amusement parks, visiting Krakow. So every day is busy. My third question, are the teachers in the camp also Rotarians? She said the tutors are not only teachers, as mentioned in point 2, they are people from Ukraine due to the language and knowledge of the Ukrainian realities. Sometimes they can be Rotarians. I said, Anna, what is your profession? And she said, I'm a translator of the Italian language. So she refused to talk to me because she realizes that her English is not on par probably with her Italian. And she said, I'm also the honorary consul of the Republic of Italy in Poland, which means that I have a lot of work also in Rotary in contact with clubs from Italy. So then I said, well, can you come up with a really cool project that we can do from all over the world that maybe each of us could do some little piece, meaning our mini service projects? And she said, well, thank you for your willingness to help. But as a rule, we buy what we need in Poland and give it to the refugees in Poland or send it to Ukraine. This is because goods from outside the EU are subject to customs, duties, and border procedures and are complicated and lengthy. There's no point in sending anything from the USA, she said. That was very clear. So I'm like, okay. Well, I wish that you could ask her a question. Does anybody have a question that they would like to propose? This was the Rotary Club. I don't know if you saw it in the very beginning. I'll try it. I looked up pronunciation, everything. Zamość Ordzianaki, Poland. So her club is the one that has spearheaded this. She has been a super active part from the very beginning, but it seems like she's sort of handing it off to a man. But they have been really, really helpful in answering questions. Does anybody have a question? I would be happy to find out and get back to you with her answer. I really wanted to showcase what Rotarians are doing throughout the world. I mean, we see what MESA is doing and the Cooperative for Education is doing, and maybe even other Rotary clubs in our district. We can see what they're doing if you look at the newsletter. But there's some really huge things going on in the world right now, and Rotarians are stepping up to take care of them, which I think is really cool. Does anybody have anything else for the good of the order? No? How can you all be so quiet? Did I talk too much?
Oh,
Yes.
No way. Done great.
All right. Well, I don't ever mind adjourning early. So the two Rotary slogans again are create hope in the world through service above self. So everybody get your rocks. Don't forget, be happy, put your things out there and send pictures because I want proof that you did it. All right, everybody have a super great month. I will.
hey, Chris,
Yes.
thanks for making Rotary fun.
Rotary is fun, I think. So I want to have fun personally. I will get back with all of you about when our social meeting will be based on the feedback I get from everyone else. So thank you all for voting, and I will be back in touch. It's not critical, but I think it would be fun and a great way to get to know each other better. So that's my plan. All right, thank you all. Cassie, thanks for showing up. I hope
My pleasure.
I didn't warn the rest of you, but this was an audition for us.
Yeah. Did we pass? I hope we passed.
The pressure was like enormous on me.
I really enjoyed myself. It was nice.